Yeah, no, it's been an exciting week. Dang, we got some more stuff
Oh,
out
yeah.
this week. Really, really excited about this guild
Tá, eles
feature that
estão animados aqui, né? Mas enfim, eu não
and
tô
yeah,
sacando
I'm sure
não,
we'll
velho.
see more
Mas
on
sei lá, acho que eu
this.
tenho uns 50k de
So
Barry em
far,
game,
initial
assim,
reception seems
contando com
pretty good.
recurso e tal.
Seems like there's been something like 85 to 90
Eu saquei
guilds
já,
being
acho que,
made already,
tipo,
and that's
Damn.
botei
that
20, saquei
like
uns
small
30 dólares
50,000.
e
Not
tá de
small,
boa.
50,000 berry fee. That's about like $50 to do it too. So yeah, shows some really cool excitement around this feature, and there's a ton of potential with this too. What we're most excited about is how this actually integrates into chapter 2, and we teased some of the changes that we're going to be making in the skills announcement. Like for example,
Cadê
we
o gostoso do Luke?
announced that we're going to be making pretty significant changes to core gameplay when it comes to resource generation, and guilds will play a pretty big role into this new resource generation game loop that we're building out. But yeah, we also saw some other concerns too. Like
Rapaz,
some
acho que tá
people
tendo
really like the
energia,
game
sim.
as it is right now, and that's totally cool too. I guess what we can do today is kind of dive into what we're thinking about with chapter 2, why we're thinking about some of these decisions, and like what you can expect from like the different types of users that you might be. And then yeah, what else do we have? Oh, later in this AMA, we'll also go over some of the Mochaverse stuff. Some
Oh,
exciting
yeah.
news with that. That is it's coming very soon. Very, very soon. And then, yeah, I guess we'll just leave the rest of the AMA after this more open ended. I want to get through a lot of questions today because, there's a lot of you here watching, listening. And yeah, we want to give you guys time to basically ask whatever you want to. So, yeah, we'll look at the questions that you ask in the YouTube live chat. We'll star some and then we'll get through a lot of them today as well, too. So, yeah, again, yesterday we announced guilds. Guilds is basically the next iteration of what we're doing here at Pixels. And the reason why we wanted to experiment with guilds is because we've been taking a look at everything happening in Web3 for a long time. And our goal at Pixels is to really be thinking about what are the unique features in Web3 that actually make gaming better? And what are the things that we see in Web3 that are unique and working that we can actually bring to the table and bring them into our game? So when Friend Tech came out, I became obsessed with it. I dug into it and researched it so much because it was really clear that there was something
Tá
there
sim, Lucas,
in
tá
the
tendo
whole
energia sim no teatro, tá?
project that was working. However,
Basicamente, eles estão falando aqui
now
que eles
that
estão
some of
implantando
these
as
changes
guildas
have
porque
been live,
eles
I
viram muitos
personally
erros
have made
nos
use
jogos
of some
Web3 e
exciting
tal,
use
e vão
cases where they're putting
querer.
in some new mechanics. What I think was potentially lacking in Friend Tech, though, is the actual value behind it. For me personally, I don't really value NFT influencers content much to pay for it. But when you start to think about endgame and integration of some of these things with what we have, with gameplay, with social, all of this, then it becomes really interesting. So basically, that's kind of our goal over the next year. We want to pick all the best things that are working. We want to bring it into the context of the game and into our ecosystem. And it's kind of cool because now we're starting to own like a couple different
Eles vão
verticals
pegar tudo que
inside of
funciona na
the game.
Web3 e vão
For example, we have
colocar no
our
jogo,
MMO, we have
dentro do
guilds,
contexto do
and
jogo,
then we
né?
also have
De
reputation. So we're
maneira
bringing
social, né?
all across to this, and like
É um
expanding it into
metaverso,
different
né?
verticals. And soon we're gonna have like UGC content too, expanded upon even further. So it's kind of like all these different areas that we see that's working in Web3. We want to get our hands on it a little bit because we are in a really amazing position because we have users, we have distribution, and that gives us the ability to try things out and actually kind of skip some of the issues that a lot of Web3 has when it comes to network effects as well too. So we just have a lot of room to play with. We have a lot of fun things to try out. And yeah, this guilds feature is that first one. So if you guys haven't been following Friend Tech and you don't know what guilds are, or if you don't know what like a bonding curve is, maybe I can explain that really quickly. A lot of people were really worried that guilds were going to become a popularity contest. But actually, the reason why we're adding this Friend Tech component to the guilds feature,
Importante, hein?
or these bonding curves to the guilds feature, is because there becomes a really interesting incentive alignment where guilds will actually kind of by nature become more competitive. So if you don't know what a bonding curve is or how friend tech works, basically in friend tech, you need to friend tech is almost like Twitter, except it's gated behind shares, or I think they call them keys now. And what you have to do to get access to somebody's feed in friend tech is you have to buy a key to get access to their feed. One key is typically enough to get access to somebody's feed on friend tech, but you can also own multiple keys. Now, the really interesting part is these keys cost money, and they actually increase in price the more people that own keys, if that makes sense. So basically, if I buy one
Hum,
key, the first key might be $1 in whatever token they have. They were using ETH on base. And then the next key I bought in Friendtech might be $2 because now there's two keys in circulation. And the next key might be three, so on, so on. That equation of how much these keys increase in price is what's
espera que eu vou
called the
explicar o que
bonding
ele falou
curve.
aqui.
But then what's really interesting is that you can actually sell these keys back onto the bonding curve as well too. So if there's three keys in existence, the bonding curve equation says that this key is now worth $3. I can actually sell it back. And the number of keys in that Friendtech existence decreases. And the next person, since there's only two keys, will only be able to sell theirs for two. But what this achieves is some pretty interesting stuff there. Basically, if you shape the bonding curve in the right way, you can kind of have a max expectation of what a guild size should look like in our implementation. And what that might look like is, we can adjust the curves in really interesting ways where it's like, okay, the curve starts off kind of flat. So initial like 100 keys or 100 memberships of these guilds are pretty low cost. And then maybe we want to spike it up a little bit. When it hits like 100, we get them to like, maybe 10x what they were before or something like that. But basically make it a bit more expensive to join the guild when there's more members. And that's what we love about this feature. Basically, it creates this really interesting aligned incentive where
Fala
guilds
pra
actually have to
caralho,
become somewhat
porra.
competitive. And if a guild becomes too big, it might be a little bit more difficult to join that guild. And it might create flows to these other guilds that are new, starting off, or are still trying to recruit some members. So really interesting aligned incentive there. Now, the other interesting thing about this too is anytime a key is bought or sold in Friendtech, there's a tax that's put on that key. And that tax is about 10% total on the sales. And it's actually split between Friendtech and between the creator of that Friendtech or the Friendtech influencer, basically. And our guild system will have something really similar too, where the membership fees will be split between guild and between pixels. And pixels will likely just burn our split. But that means that
Uou,
guild
top.
creators actually have an incentive to get members, and it actually helps them create some amount of treasury for whatever they want to do inside the guild, for incentives, anything like that as well too. Really, really interesting system coming out, and we're super excited to see where this goes.
Vai tá
Some
animado.
other things to note too are we're allowing people to join multiple guilds, and you'll be able to get memberships in multiple guilds as a user if you want. And what that means is we'll basically make it so that if you have multiple guild memberships, the guild that you have the most memberships of becomes your active one, but you still have access to potentially some things. It's really up for the guild to decide. With this guild feature and functionality too, we're adding in all this whole permissioning system. I know at first a lot of people were worried about this part where like, oh, if anybody can join the guild, like what if I don't trust them? What if I don't want them to join the guild? On top of all of this, we're adding in-game functionality to basically have guilds create their own government inside of the guilds if they want. Basically, you can create like ranks, permissions, all of this kind of stuff inside of this feature. So basically, if I'm the guild leader, just because somebody has a membership in my guild doesn't mean that I'm going to give them any privileges inside of the game. They could just be a visitor,
Muita coisa pra
essentially.
explicar.
Then you can
Pera aí.
have leaders, you can have like different tiers. It's really up to you and the guild on how you want to structure this. And it's probably going to be coordinated in something like your guild Discord. So really fun stuff there. And then, oh yeah, on the note of like, do I need to join a guild? No, you do not. So if you read our announcement tweet, basically we are changing up how resources are generated, but this is also coming with a lot of changes to resource tiering as well in chapter 2. So resources, as you know now, will change a bit. Essentially what we want to start to do is introduce like much more structured tiers of resources and how they're kind of categorized, if that makes sense. So all the resources that you guys are collecting now, they're still going to be in a game. Don't worry about that. But we are introducing more, and we're going to start tiering them as well. Even things like the tools, even things like all of the things you see and stuff in the game too. But basically, yeah, don't worry. Everything that you get in the game is still useful, and we're gonna have a lot more use cases to use these resources as well. But what that also means is basically we can tier some of the access as well too. So for end of
Fechou, Midas. Tamo junto, irmão.
basically like tier 3 and
Obrigado
4
pelo
resources
apoio.
available to them. In our new feature that we are building out called exploration, maybe dungeons, not confirmed, TBD. That will be where you can access like the top tiers of resources essentially. So tiers 1 and 2 are basically going to be available to the free to play players, and they'll still be really important to the game economy. But yeah, if you want access to some of the like later stage games, then maybe it makes sense to join the guild too. And with that, we're also introducing gameplay upgrades to specs. So, tier 1 and 2 resources, if you're in that free to play game loop, that might mean two different ways to get some of these things. But yeah, our focus is on also free to play experience as well too. When it comes to resource burn, that's kind of important when we're thinking about game economics, where a lot of our user base is free to play, right? And they still generate resources. We still want to give you guys gameplay to actually use these resources. It's more fun for you that way. You get a better single player experience or a free to play experience. And we can still build around that as well too to make it work with the economics and like the lower tiers essentially. It's also pretty good for anti-bot. If bots can only farm lower tier resources, then um then it's no issue there, right? So are we turning
Tá, vou dar uma resumida aqui, tá? Esse início de ama que já deu um pump no Barry. Notícia boa, né? Sempre causa isso aí. Basicamente, agora os sistemas de guildas, eles vão ter memberships, tá? Então, você vai entrar, mas meio que você não vai... Como é que eu posso explicar? Você vai ter que comprar um acesso. E esse acesso ele funciona com bounding curves. Eu não sei a tradução em inglês. Mas então se você compra um a $1, quem comprar o segundo já vai aumentar o preço para 1,5, $2, não sei. Não sei se é esse valor. Foi só um exemplo. Então, conforme as guildas forem criando, né, essa fama assim, vão ter mais pessoas interessadas em entrar, então vão ter mais pessoas querendo pagar esse membership, certo? Ah, mas aí qualquer um vai poder entrar na minha guilda? Qualquer um vai poder entrar na Pix? Não, a gente vai poder colocar também requisitos in-game, né? Requisitos do jogo em si, tá? Requisitos do jogo que você vai precisar ter, sei lá, um ranking para poder fazer certas coisas dentro da guilda, tá? É basicamente isso aí que eu entendi, o que ele quis falar. Então a gente vai ter que pagar para entrar, mesmo estando na watchlist? Sim, eu só não sei o valor ainda, né? Porque aí vai ser um sistema de membership, né? Não sei se vai ser um valor padrão para todas as guildas, não sei se cada guilda vai determinar um valor, não sei como vai ser ainda, né? Eles não falaram direito ainda. Provavelmente deve ser em Berry. E as vendas desses, as vendas desses memberships aí, elas vão ser revertidas em taxas do jogo, que vai ser muito bom, e uma porcentagem para a guilda. Então 10%, 10% de taxa. Deve ser uma parte, não sei se é 5% para cada um, enfim. Mas é uma parte para o jogo, uma parte para a guilda, né?
just access to everything we want to organize that. And we'll give you guys the tooling to be able to do that. But that's the really interesting stuff that we're excited about when it comes to guilds.
All right, we've covered guilds. Do you want to talk a little about what's coming tomorrow?
Yes. Well, it's
tonight?
honestly
This is what
art
you're talking
tonight.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys haven't seen, we're doing a really awesome promotion with Mochaverse and Mocha ID.
Falando do Mochaverse agora,
It'll be
o evento de amanhã.
like Hong Kong times next day. But yeah, expect that today, basically. So you'll get the Mocha ID connection. If you've been waiting for a spot, Pixels players get free access to Mocha ID, right? Like there's no
Yeah,
more wait
so
list. There's
so
no more.
you will not need a referral code. So I know you guys have been asking over and over again, where can I get a code? You will not need one. All you'll have to do is go to the Pixels dashboard, and then there's a button in there that says join Mochaverse. By clicking that, you'll be able to get your hands on a Mocha ID if you don't
Yeah.
have it ready.
And note, this is actually only available to Pixels players. Nobody else in Web3 can access this right now, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Ah, parece que dá pra pegar o Mocha ID pelo
I don't know how
próprio
much of this you
Pixels.
guys have seen, but
Olha,
here's a
ela vai
little
mostrar aqui agora.
sneak preview. I think we've already showed you this. But
Ah, isso aí é um
there's the
preview, né?
inside of the Mocha Clubhouse. And then more will come. This is the first launch, let's say.
Nice. Can you hear me, Heidi?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. My microphone has a mute button.
Oh my gosh. I was like, was I cutting out? Like
No,
when I
no.
first started, it felt like it was lagging. So but I
Yeah.
can-
Okay, so yeah, on that too, this will only be available to Pixels players. Nobody else in Web3 gets access to Mocha IDs yet. And you guys will be the first people that get to earn round points too, which is going to be a big deal, is what I can say. So yeah, super exciting here. Today's activation won't be the full activation. We'll be basically running another part of it, and you'll get a little sneak peek when you see the clubhouse if you're able to enter and go in today of what the activation looks like. But essentially, what we have prepped, and this is going to probably launch next week, maybe a week after, is like a whole game loop. So if you've played with us before and you've gone through some of these other promotions, like the thing that we did with Other Spec, the thing that we did with Tastemakers, we have built separate game loops and like mini games essentially for some of these.
Vai ser um evento que nem o no Cyber, entendeu? O evento da Mocha. No Cyber or the Spec.
And there will also be a leaderboard where if you climb up the ranks of the leaderboard, you'll be rewarded more realm points. So exciting.
Então vai ser um game separado, né? Tipo, um ciclo lá separado do Pixels mesmo.
First few quests for earning realm points will release today, and also avatars and special avatars for those who connect Mocha ID.
Vai ter NFT para quem tem Mocha ID.
Mochaverse NFT that's gonna be launching today. I have a couple, super excited about that, and yeah, that's kind of a scoop there.
Yeah, this actually is kind of similar to
Não é NFT não, perdão, é avatar, tá? Para quem tem o Mocha ID.
game that just linked to their website, but if you have any of their NFTs, you get to walk around as Glace, which is one of their characters. So similar vibe. But yeah, I just wanted to say the art for Glace is so good. I'm just so impressed. But yeah, we love doing little things like this. This one is not little though. This is going to be like a whole
Então é isso, é tipo... Ela tá falando do Tribes agora, tá?
Get ready.
Mas basicamente o Mochaverse qualquer um pode ter, parece que tá liberado já na dashboard lá, social. Depois a gente dá uma procurada. Mas eu não achei, então tá liberado para qualquer um jogador de Pixels,
So
né?
yeah, it actually ends in about just like 4 hours. That's exactly 30 days since we launched. So depending on what time zone you're in, November 29th, 30th. So yeah, ending in like 4 hours. So if you have any extra tickets, go to those trailers right now because they will not be working in a few hours.
Yeah, but also note, this is something fun. We're going to keep the carnival open. So prizes will stop for a little bit, but we'll probably start to introduce some more prizes in the future. TBD on what those look like. But we like the idea of the carnival staying open. So yeah, there might be some fun things that we can do, like giving out like a couple of lands a month for tickets. Maybe like a couple of pets a month for tickets. Like, I don't know. We might as well keep it open. We built it. We put a lot of time into it.
Eles estão falando aqui que vão deixar o evento aberto de carnaval, mas vão tirar os prêmios, né? E estão pensando em colocar, tipo, alguns pets por mês, talvez. Eles vão pensar nisso, mas vai ficar aberto o mapa lá.
It's kind of fun. But yeah, that'd be a cool thing to add.
Yeah, so just for total clarity, on what's happening in a few hours. So the trailers will close. So the 3 trailers at the back of the carnival map
Os trailers vão
that you go
fechar.
inside and you redeem your tickets from, those will close. everything else will stay open. So you can still play the mini games. You can earn tickets if you want. The tickets, for the time being, you won't be able to redeem. But like Luke said, we might implement some fun things in the future for those. So yeah, you can play the games. The crop vending machines will still drop the daily seeds. All of the quests will stay open, so you can keep working
É
on your
isso,
Theo
dudes.
quest, your Karen's quest. You can keep crafting your Grumpkin spice lattes, your cotton candy milkshakes. So yeah, the only thing that's happening.
Quer sugar mais, é Paulão? Que isso? Que isso?
Okay.
Eu tô gritando,
We
mas foi
good?
mal.
Should we dive into
Quer
questions?
sugar mais, porra? Que
Yeah, let's
isso?
dive in.
Que
I'm
isso?
trying to see if there's any good starred ones that we can go into right now. Okay, so yeah, we released V1 of Guilds yesterday. What we just really this is important to note too. So we released V1 of Guilds yesterday, and this V1 is just the first start. So there's basically gonna be like
So
3-4
exciting
updates
for
over
our
the course of the
guild,
next 2
man.
to 3 months with guilds. What we wanted to do at first was kind of get a feel of demand and like membership count that we might be able to expect from guilds. So that's why we introduced this watch list at first. So joining a guild watch list is completely free. We wanted to get you guys to start creating these guilds as well too. Yeah, so far we've seen about like 85 to 90 guilds created already. It hasn't even been 24 hours, so that's really great. And what we want to kind of experiment now with, or think about at least, is how big do we want these guilds to be on average? And yeah, how accessible do we want them to be? So that's what we need to think about too, because there's some trade-offs too. If you don't have enough guilds, you probably want them to be a little bit bigger. If you have a diverse enough set of guilds, enough interest in them, then we can actually decrease membership size a little bit and play around there. So yeah, that's kind of why we like to iterate and experiment. So the bonding curve is still TBD on what that looks like. Like my initial hunch is I feel like I want guilds to settle around like 100 to 200 players tops, and then create some competition there. But I know if we do that, there'll probably be sub guilds too, right? So like TIFF on their watch list right now, they have 1,375 players. Amazing job, TIFF. That's really cool to see. So if we set that guild size to be with the bonding curve to be around like 200 members, you got to think about what they're going to do. There'll probably be TIFF sub guilds. And honestly, anyways, I feel like managing a 1,300 person guild would be a logistic nightmare. Props to you, TIFF, if you can do it. But it might make sense to organize in sub guilds if you're a guild like that for that reason, anyways, right? But yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're playing with. Exactly. So yeah, benefits of being in a guild will be you'll get access to whatever industries, resources they might have. You'll be able to basically access what they allow you to access. So what we're expecting to do is like add some guild functionality of like, okay, for this rank in my guild, they can come on my land. For this rank in my guild, they can farm on my land. For this rank in my guild, they can access things like storage chests and start to like collect all of that. So yeah, that's what we're kind of thinking. Essentially, it's a new land permissioning system that's tied into guilds, and there might be some other fun things that we do with it as well too. We kind of want to tie them into our new mechanic around exploration as well.
Okay.
O bagulho vai ficar
There's
doido,
another question. We
rapaziada.
are a small
É
guild.
isso.
Do we have the same chance to earn pixel like other bigger guilds?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the goal. What you'll see is around this exploration skill, that's gonna be the fun stuff. So if your guild is dedicated and mighty, you're going to have a chance basically. This exploration skill that we're developing it's pretty cool. It's kind of a mix of like being first to discover stuff, and then it's like a bit of economic PvP as well too. So yeah, it really all depends on dedication to the game. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Então,
Will
ó,
guilds have chat rooms?
Yeah.
as guildas basicamente vão limitar, elas vão poder limitar, né, por ranking. Então, por exemplo, a Pix tem 5 lands, então, sei lá, se você tem tal skill para tal coisa, você vai poder farmar isso. Se você tem tal skill, você tá em tal rank, você vai poder ter acesso a isso. Vai ser basicamente assim, tá ligado?
Not too long after.
É porque eu não
Plus,
consigo, ir traduzindo ao mesmo tempo, porque aí eu perco o
I
contexto.
want to say we like to build things half finished, but we like to cut.
Ah, e eles perguntaram também, nós somos uma guilda pequena, vamos poder farmar pixels igual as grandes? E aí eles falaram, tudo vai depender da sua dedicação, tá ligado? Do quanto você vai se dedicar a isso. Então não adianta os caras terem uma guilda gigante que 10% ali vai realmente fazer valer, né? Vai cumprir lá tudo para farmar pixels ou farmar os recursos lá que seja.
And what are things that you are thinking there?
Real good to have
Okay,
multiple chat
here we
rooms.
go.
What if I have a
What if I
land
have a
and
land
join?
and I joined multiple guilds? What guild will benefit from my land? Would it be depending on my tier within the guild?
So if you own land, that's up for you to decide. Like what guild you want to give access to the land around. So basically, on the land, you'll decide what guild it's owned to, or if there's no guild. There'll basically be three options. Basically, unused land will be default; anybody can access it. So there's a lot of people who probably bought farmland a while ago, have just been sitting on it. They don't play in the game. Their land will be default available for everybody.
Então, ó, para quem tem land, vão
But
ter três
yeah,
opções.
otherwise you get.
Qualquer um vai poder farmar, somente o pessoal da guilda ou ninguém, tá ligado?
At once.
Pelo visto.
Does the guild own land or the owners?
The owner gets to decide what they want to do with it. Do they want to give guild access to the land? Do they want the land just for themselves? Or do they want the land open for everybody?
Vai ser isso.
Okay,
Então,
guilds.
quem tem
Yeah, so
land
with
vai
land,
decidir.
what you can
Porra, eu
do
quero
right
farmar
now
só?
is
Beleza, eu posso. Eu quero liberar pra guilda?
your base. That's great. But then
Vou liberar pra
we're
guilda.
going to have competition, and where we're going to
Aí
have
vai ser tipo
people
isso. Posso liberar pra todo mundo lá ele?
around exploration.
Pode liberar pra todo mundo.
Basically, you'll be competing for different resources with other people, so you won't be able to invade guilds. But I mean, that's kind of cool if you did that soon. So guild wars will be more like there will be competition between guilds.
Vai ter
But like this
competição
won't be
forte.
this won't look like WoW right now. This won't look like all of that, right? It's going to be a bit simpler looking at first in its first iteration. But the whole point with Pixels is we want to get features out and test them. And if we see something interesting, then that's when we'll start to pour
Acabou,
more dev
amor.
resources and more like design resources into it. And already it's looking like the interest is feeling pretty good. Feels like this is the right direction. And it's cool because just a side note, this really does feel like the most cohesive vision the Pixels team has had for the game since we started. It really does feel like everything is kind of falling together, and everything that we're doing is starting to make some sense and come together in like one vision. But yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that we're thinking about basically. So we want to start small and with realistic steps, and then grow it to be a bit greater too. Like the thing that kills games is always scope creep and over promising, right? And we don't want to over promise when it comes to game. And we have a pretty good idea of like what we can build by when then too right now. So the first iteration of this mechanic will be simpler, and then ideally like 2 to 3 years things look different, and like even more polished, more scoped out, specced out.
Okay, I lost it, but someone asked about landowner. I'm sorry, land.
Vai ter guerra de guilda? Eles falaram que provavelmente, mas eles querem
Yeah, so
ir evoluindo
that's
aos
what's gonna
poucos as
look
coisas,
a
né?
little bit different. Like this system is going to be getting an overhaul with manager, all of this kind of stuff. It's going to kind of switch to guilds. So I mean, one thing that you can do is recreate that system with guilds. Basically, if you only own like a couple lands and you want to make your own mini guild, only have like 1 or 2 people with permissions inside of that guild, it might make sense to do that, right?
Okay. What about people without a guild?
Yeah, so there's still tons of gameplay for you to participate in. Basically, most of the gameplay that you participate in now is still going to be available to you. This is just like new stuff that we're adding, basically. So some of the resource generation changes a bit, but you'll still have access to your own land, and we'll put a larger emphasis on spec land as well. So that gameplay loop will be making a bit more sense. Right now, there's really no reason to come back to your own land, which is actually a core issue in gameplay right now. You only have a reason to visit other people's lands, which is cool. And we still want to keep that in the game, and we want to make that like a core part of the gameplay. But we also want you to be on your own land a lot more often, so that you have more attachment to it. You want to upgrade it. You want to like actually progress through this well. Because right now, if you're playing the game as a free-to-play user, you're only progressing other people, right? You're not really progressing yourself besides your own skills, and that's kind of a core gameplay fault right now that we're trying to address with this.
Okay.
Eu não entendi muito bem esse
Some more
bagulho da galera sem
questions.
guilda,
How do
não, tá ligado?
guilds stop botting and cheating?
Yeah, so if you have a bother taking all the resources inside of your, land or inside of your guild's land, they'll be taking it away from you rather than just generating
É.
more. The effects of having a bother in your guild are a lot
Como
more
as guildas não
compared
parar
to
o bot e
probably
os,
a
e
tool that you
os
don't have.
hacks, né? Os cheatings.
So that's what we're focused on. And then these changes to resource generation too basically creates like a max cap on resources generated per day. So what that
Vai ter
actually means
uma
is
capitalização máxima
like
de recursos por
you
dia também.
more bots coming into the game can't generate more resources. That's the net effect
Então,
of this. If
mais
we have a million
bots no
bots playing
jogo
the game every single day,
significa
the
que
same
quem
amount
vai
of
levar
resources will
esses
be
recursos
generated.
limitados serão
The
os
max
bots.
cap
Então,
is
não é
met.
válido para as guildas
So
ter
just basically
bot, tá
we're
ligado?
removing the incentive to create multi-accounts and bots just through gameplay as well.
Okay, more guild questions. Let me see here. Can you kick members from your guild? What happens
Por
with the
isso que tem que
tokens used
guardar
to
tudo, pô.
purchase the membership?
Yeah, so you can change permissions for users. So they'll still have that membership NFT, but they might not be able to do anything inside of your guild. They might not be able to like look at chats. They might not be able to do like anything on the land basically. So
Ah, a gente
they maintain that
pode tirar
ownership, but
pessoas,
they
quicar membros da
maintain
guilda.
no
O que
privileges,
acontece
basically.
com o
So it's up
token
to
que
the
usou
guild
para
to give
comprar, né?
privileges, but the guild can't take away ownership.
What happens to the drills, chickens, and other things I have on all these farms?
Yeah, so all the stuff that you have, like those are staying. And we're not going to remove any resources from the game. The only thing that we will do is start to add stuff. But yeah, if you have something on people's farms right now, like drills, chickens, and I guess the concern is, what if it's
You
on
won't
this
have
land
access to them anymore. Yeah.
and they make it a guild that I can't? Yeah, we'll figure something out with that. That's a good point. But yeah, I wouldn't. We'll make sure things are right with this. There will be like a bit of a migration. We're gonna try to keep as much
Tá,
stable
o
order as we can
que
for most.
acontece? Ó, eu tenho drills e chickens em mais de 100 farms. O que vai acontecer com esses
Okay.
itens?
Like
Eles
other
não querem tirar nada do jogo, nenhum recurso do jogo. Então eles vão pensar em alguma coisa, disseram que é um bom ponto, né? E vão pensar em alguma coisa para resolver isso com quem tem, isso. Vão pensar em quem tem muitos recursos assim, né, para ver o que eles vão fazer aí, velho. Então, a princípio é uma incógnita, né?
Too. So especially we want to get features out that are experimental, but once they're out and we get that first iteration, your guys' feedback is extremely important because we have this idea of like what we think might work, right? But we have to have some
É,
experimentation to get it out.
os
Once we
tickets
have
vão
it out,
servir para alguma
that's
coisa
when
depois de
we want to get
fecharem os
feedback. We start
trailers.
playing with
Eles
it,
falaram que vão deixar
see what
aberto o evento de carnaval, mas os tickets parece que não vão servir para muita coisa. Talvez eles liberem algumas coisas durante o mês aí,
feedback is then. And
ao
that's when we
longo do
start like
tempo
looking
aí,
deeply into,
mas a
okay, how are
princípio
people
não vai poder usar.
responding
Peguei
to it?
ban de spam porque tava ruim de entrar ontem e tô 24 horas off na
All of
conta.
that.
Tô
So
com um
again,
bocado
this
de
is
ticket
managed.
lá parado.
We look at
Então você não vai poder usar pelo visto, tá ligado?
and
Tipo,
we'll
acaba
take some
21 horas o
notes on
evento.
that.
Yeah, and if you don't know what Canny is, it is our feature request kind of like feedback system. So if you go to our help center at the top, it's linked as feature request. Click on that, it'll take you over to Canny, and there you can put in any
Mas
feature
ilimitando
requests,
tudo, meio que a
ideas
gente não se ferra também
that
não.
you've thought of,
Rapaz!
and then people can upvote them if they agree with you. And yeah, so go do that. We get so many good ideas from you guys, and I just always say, go put them in Canny, go put them in Canny. Okay.
Rapaz,
Let me see
para pra
here.
pensar aí. Se você tá evoluindo no jogo, por que que você não vai ter...
Guild questions. Why don't
Por
let's
que que
we'll
vão
let
te
some other
limitar
questions
nas
out
guildas,
now. If you guys have
entendeu?
more guild
Por isso
questions,
que a
obviously
gente
keep
sempre
asking
focou
them. We
nisso aqui. Eu
will
sempre
bring them up as we
enfatizei
see
isso.
them. I'm gonna just whip through some things. Is there no option of making cooking mix? No, you have to go buy it. You have to buy it. You cannot make cooking mix. The popcorn machine in the theater gives you a small energy booster just by being in the room. So just go hang out in the theater right now if you are in game. Let me see. What other quick ones can we talk about?
Você vai poder
So, am I
entrar em
right in
mais
thinking
de
the
uma
Mochaverse social
guild.
connect
Vai
is
poder
not live on the
entrar.
dashboard yet? You are correct in thinking that. It
Mas
will be
aí,
live
será que vai ser
sometime
viável
tomorrow,
para o dono de guild ter
Asia
você lá,
time,
entendeu?
very soon. Very soon. Less than 12 hours, guys.
Porque, tipo assim, ó, beleza, você tá em uma guild, tá lá e tal, aí você tem liberado algumas coisas.
Oh, I just pulled this aside. Thank you so much to literally every single one of you that
É,
contributes UGC content, literally anything to Pixels and the community and the project. Like, we talk about this all the time, but like we wouldn't be here without every single one of you. And a lot of that, it helps
tipo, se a gente só puder farmar na nossa guild,
content that
só tem um tipo de recurso, tá ligado? Vai depender da guilda, né?
learn more about the project. It also builds
E vai depender também do que eles vão fazer com os recursos que estão espalhados aí pelas farms.
which are, going to be legitimized even further with guilds. So yeah, I just wanted
Temos
to
que
point
colocar
out
nas
that
diferentes. Aí vai depender, pô, da guilda. Foi o que eu entendi. A nossa é drill, mas tem outras coisas lá, entendeu?
Okay. In the meantime, no, we will not be. You cannot
Tem
transfer tokens
cerâmica,
back in 7.
tem
It will not be
slug.
for now. Mocha prizes. Okay, I'll give you a tiny, tiny leak on that. Okay, there will be farmland, there will be pets, and there will be realm points. Realm points are from the Mochaverse project.
Ó, o evento da Mocha vai ter prêmio de
Pets are
land,
unique pets too, which is cool.
They're so honestly, I'm 100% want
pets
one.
e
Which probably gives
RP.
away the color.
É aí que entra o ponto. É aí que entra o ponto, pô.
Guys, if I win one, no one can get mad at me, okay? Because he told me I can.
I
Understood?
wanted to win a pet, so I thought it'd be hilarious if I won a pet in the carnival.
I never even went into the trailer because I was like, it would be unfair if I won because I already
Oh, I
have
was
one.
trying every day.
Sorteio de land não, você vai ter
Yeah, guys,
que
there you go.
jogar o evento e concorrer
Okay.
lá no
This
leaderboard.
fishing skill, can you talk about
Preocupação
that
economia.
now?
É isso que
I
tá.
talk about that,
Isso é o
but
que mais pega, né?
stay tuned. Stay tuned.
O cara ter 100 galinhas sem lentes é
What
mais
happened to the
hardcore.
3 winners of VIP last week?
É
They
hardcore pra
have
caralho.
sent VIP, except I think one of them didn't reply. So if you think you're owed VIP, check.
Mas aí, Dudes, por exemplo, aí que entra, por isso que eles querem colocar isso aí, porque, por exemplo, vai ter land que não vai ter abelha, vai ter land que não vai ter winery. E aí que vai entrar a competição, aí que vai entrar a coisa doida, entendeu? Pelo que eu entendi, né? Mas ainda é muito, muito cedo pra tentar entender muita coisa.
Farmland owners are going to get early access to that feature, and that's going to be sandbox style land. So there is that, where you'll basically be able to create your own universe in a way. You'll be able to upload your own tile sets, art, and then in the future you'll be able to add some scripts that actually have some interesting effects on game world. But yeah, that's coming in the pixel token. We're also introducing like new types of land in the game too, but they're not minted. They're just kind of competed for by guilds. So that's what we're talking about with this exploration skill. There's gonna be new areas inside of the game. Have to discover
Vão ter outros tipos de land, rapaziada.
resources than you as a free-to-play player use a normal VIP player easily able to do it too. Not easily, but yeah, they'll be competing for these like contestable lands basically, and that'll be the source.
Vão ter outros tipos de land, tá? Com skills novas.
Okay. Let me see. Do you want to talk a little bit about the trade values right now?
Alguma atualização muito importante, galera, perdi tudo.
Yeah, so some in-game items
Só, tipo, só possíveis atualizações, né?
Shortcutting. So yeah, you have to go feed the cow. I'm sorry if you don't want to shortcut that one. And other things like that too. Some of the in-game items have been trade disabled as well too, because they were getting abused by bots essentially. So we had to basically cut that back. Like for example, seeds inside of the game, really easy bot attack vector, and we had to disable trading for that. But you can still go buy them from the store. Potions will probably start to reintroduce trading for that as well. Some of these things are a bit harder for us to price initially. So if we don't get the pricing on them right, it creates arbitrage opportunities for bots. So we like to err on the side of caution for some stuff like this, and we like to reintroduce things. Same thing is happening with reputation points, for example. like we had to increase trade limits or increase reputation points needed for trading, I think, a little bit, until we can get a few more data points. Good point on that one. Like things like Mochaverse would be a really good proof point of like if you have higher reputation. So I think on the reputation side of things, what the team wants to do is we want to start introducing more connections that you can add that will increase your reputation, make it easier there. There's like a few other things that we have that we're working on too. There's some cool stuff that somebody on the team is working around, like machine learning when it comes to bot detection prevention. So we might start to add some like invisible components to reputation score as well, based on things like that. But yeah, we like to mess around and try things out a little bit. So we're always going to err on the caution side of things. But yeah, that's the transparency behind that.
Okay, when can we expect to see our pixel allocations?
Coming soon. It's about that time. That's all I can say.
Eles falaram aí das poções, né, que a galera tava usando pra fazer arbitragem, né, no mercado e tal. Os bots, né, então, tipo, sei lá, 100 contas, aí compra lá 1000 Pop Berries Seeds e bota 1.1, então, sei lá, 100 contas é 1 milhão de Pop Berry Seeds, então, tudo a 1.1, então você vai ganhar ali, sei lá, 0.1 não sei quanto, mas são 100 contas, né, então...
There's been some changes to tooling, things like that. So yeah, I think we'll figure something out soon. But that team is ready and very eager. So yeah, props to that team.
Okay, I see some people asking this question again. No, there is not a mocha button yet, but there will be in like all I'm going to say for now is less than 12 hours. Less than 12 hours, you will be able to get a mocha ID.
Aí, ó, menos de 20 horas para poder linkar o Mocha ID.
Okay, we've answered some of these questions already. Oh, anything specific you want to discuss?
Yeah.
Eles vão organizar ainda, né? Tomara.
Would it be permissible to betray a guild?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's kind of what we want, right? Which maybe some people don't like that, but that's what we want. We want tight-knit guilds. We want guilds that actually know each other, and we want guilds to be able to work with each other. So what I'll say is, if you're a guild owner, don't promote people that you don't trust inside of your guild. If you've ever played a game like EVE Online, there's some crazy stuff that happens in games like that, and that's an inspiration. I was trying to get the team to watch a ton of Minecraft civilization videos, if you've ever seen those. There's some really cool stuff that pops up in some Minecraft gameplay and role play, and we really like that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what we're trying to model some of the skilled stuff after as well too.
Vai ser permitido trair uma guilda? Sim, galera, vai ser permitido.
Answered a lot of these.
Ah, VB, por que você tá feliz? Você quer trair a Pix? Não, é porque, tipo, isso vai trazer uma competitividade muito maior pro jogo. Tá ligado?
We're probably gonna do one in Barry. That's still up for debate, but I think it makes sense to bring one a bit sooner and get a few more people some access to pets. So yeah, we'll likely restrict that to people who have progressed pretty far through the game. To mint them, we'll give them access rather than just anybody. And that might be done in Barry. TBD, but pretty sure it's going to happen. And then when it comes to actually
Pois é, envolve dinheiro, pai, aí fudeu.
for pets, they already have some utility in the game. They look cute. They follow you around. That's sick. There's like a bit of a happiness gameplay loop. They have some storage. They increase your reach.
Safadinho.
There's more interesting things that we can do in the future as well. So chapter 2, like there might be some small integration with pets as well for some of the stuff. We're still trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. But then chapter 3 is when we might shift focus more to like actually doing all of the pet stuff that we want to be doing. Which the reason why we introduced pets, we gave them stats and things like that, is because we do like the idea of combat. We were trying to figure out for a while, like, how do we do combat with all these different avatars? Or like, how do we have competition with all these different avatars? And part of the reason that we released pets was it makes a lot more sense to do it with one consistent thing that we release, which are these pets. So yeah, potentially expect some stuff there. But that'll be...
Batemos a meta, hein, rapaziada? Tamo junto.
Exploration / maybe dungeons.
Meta de likes. Batemos. Muito obrigado. Vocês são foda.
6-month to 1-year roadmap of really building that out. We're expecting chapter 2 to be another like 3 months of building probably. So target release date of February, March. But yeah, team's really excited
Aí,
about
ó,
building that.
capítulo
Already
2.
started like a lot of the work around chapter 2. So
Fevereiro ou
get
março.
in after that. How do we iterate on top of that?
Okay, so going back to trading things, I believe, from what I understand, if you have VIP, you can trade any of these things just fine. It's unbalanced trading from non-VIP players that will struggle to sell these items for like a higher value, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can still trade all of those items, but you can't do unbalanced trades of them. So
Exactly.
basically going from non-VIP to another user is a bit more difficult. But honestly, or landowner, most of the people that want to buy these anyways are already VIP or landowners, and these are kind of expensive items too. So if you have the ability to purchase one of these and you haven't bought VIP, what's wrong with you?
Blunt to the point. Okay. I want to know when normalized weekly parties is this of the past. Okay, so we used to have it was getting out of control. It was. Let's be honest here. It was getting out of control. It was throwing off the balance of the game because energy was no longer hard to get, right? The main issue we put full stop on them was server capacity. Honestly, it was just getting out of hand. People couldn't access the maps. The game would just not be playable. So we've been doing tons of work on our servers in the background. So was it like a week or two ago, we had a Moku party in the Drunken Goose, and that was really fun. That went really well. So we might do some events like that over time. They will pretty much always be in a public map so that they can be multi-world. And then if you attended the Moku event, you will have seen that there was portals that connected to the Drunken Goose to their farmland. So you could go there for fun, hang out, see their maps, but then the energy portion would be in the Drunken Goose. So we'll do more of those over time.
Ali, aqui a
But
parte
they're not going to
de,
be every single day
de
like they were for a minute there. Yeah, it was,
a
to be
parte.
honest, it was out of control. But yeah,
Eles
those
estão
are
falando
fun. So yeah,
das
we'll have
festas, né? As pares de energia e tal, Energy Party, né?
I
Que
would
tava fora do
attention to
controle,
our
então
Discord
eles devem
events.
fazer que nem o evento da Mokives. Mokives, não é
Always going to be in your
Mokiris.
localized time in the
Vocês
Discord event.
entenderam? O dos
So
portais
click
lá,
on that first source of truth. It's
no
always at
Drunken
this time
Goose.
anyways, but if you're ever confused about an event time or something, check our Discord events because then it'll show in your localized time. It's a lot easier than trying to figure out what the heck like Pacific time is versus your time zone. Okay.
Somebody asked if there's an
E aí, o
event
que vocês estão
happening
achando até
Carnival.
agora aí?
You're in luck.
Claro que tem muita coisa que eu não consegui falar
Yeah,
aqui,
that's what
né?
this
Mas
Mokiverse stuff is. So first part of that is releasing today, and then there's going to be more fun in-game activation with them as well too. And then I think we're trying to get something else out by end of December, I think too, and that one's going to be really cool. That's with another really big project. So that's planned for end of December. We'll see if we can hit that date. Might be more like January, but if we do that one, that'll be quite fun in the timelines that we want. That's gonna be really cool. We have a couple of new stuff that we might be releasing with that, like some puzzles. So yeah, we'll see what that ends up looking like, and when we can get that one out. But yeah, otherwise, Mokiverse shipping starting today. Even more activations with Mokiverse shipping next week.
Okay, we get asked this question a lot, so can you address it? What happens to the pet coupons that were redeemed by bots?
Yeah, so we confiscated a decent amount of pet coupons, not too many. I think it's like anywhere from like 10 to 15. And yeah, we're
caralho,
gonna put that back into the pool basically, or
15,
maybe just do some
15
giveaways too.
cupons
Still TBD on
que os
what we do
bots
with them,
pegaram.
but yeah, it could be fun to. I know some people grinded. We'll figure something out with that. But yeah, I mean, the whole point is to give them to real users. That's what we want, basically. So yeah, we'll come up with a plan. We'll announce that in the next like couple days.
Okay.
Isso,
Let's see.
que eles confiscaram, né? De bots.
I feel like we've covered so many of these questions just in general already. Oh yeah, this was an interesting question. So can an individual buy
Que indivíduo
multiple
ganha
membership
múltiplo?
slots in the same guild?
Yeah, that will be allowed. And that's actually how we'll determine primary ownership, I think, too. It's the one that you have the most memberships of will be your, primary guild. That's the guild that you'll actually get access to. So you'll have like an active guild membership and you'll have like inactive guild memberships. The guild that you have the most memberships around will be your active guild membership, and that's the one that you'll be able to partake in.
Sorry. I just clicked on, I don't know what that was. But anyways, I wanted to quickly talk about this actually. So yeah, we've got a large Spanish speaking community. I'm not going to speak Spanish this time, guys. But I will say we can't enable them live, but I know that there are some really good systems out there, some like AI tools that people can use to watch like live streams and stuff in real time. So I would ask around your Spanish
Eles
community
estavam
and
falando se várias pessoas podem comprar. Se qualquer um pode comprar, tipo, múltiplos tickets de memberships. Então, sim, né? Vai ser possível. Só que a rede interrompeu aqui o look. Olha a cara do
Couple
menino.
questions. So many
Ficou
questions
puto.
about Axie avatars still.
I know.
What I'll say is, yeah, we're working on something, but Axie stuff, like again, I think Axie integration is the biggest possible integration that we could do. So we want to do something very special when we do it, basically. So yeah, we're trying to figure out like the
Vamos
most
poder
creative
usar os
solution. What we
Axes.
have learned with interoperability, or basically anything that we do inside of Pixels, is the more creative you are and the more attention grabbing it is, the better of an activation it will be. So if we just did Axies as avatars, that's really cool. And honestly, the Axie community is big enough where probably would get some attention, but there might be something even cooler that we can do. And that's the kind of stuff that we're thinking about right now.
Axe como avatar, eles estão querendo fazer uma parada grande, né?
Yep. Somebody asked about mayor elections. Do you have anything around
Okay.
that?
Se for rolar
Mayor
mesmo, Axe é o top,
elections.
jogo
I will
top
be
1
just totally honest with you guys.
da
Not
blockchain, então.
not a priority for the team at the
De
moment.
blockchain, né? No
It's
caso,
been put on the back burner just with we
Web3
have
e tal,
so
enfim.
many things going on. We, as you guys seen, we keep shipping new things like every week. So if I'm being honest, it just has not been a priority for the team right now.
Pois é, Dudes.
Obviously, pay attention to Discord for when and how that plays out in the future. But yeah, I guess flex it for mayor forever at the for the time being.
Deixa eu ver aqui o que ela vai falar.
Dictator.
His only benefit is that he has like the red roll in game. Oh, actually, he must have the mayor. There's a mayor
There's a glow stick too.
Yeah. All right. Well, he deserves it. Flepsit is amazing. So.
Okay, people are asking to lower the VIP rate. Yeah, the Ronin token keeps going up in price. It's stop making it go up in price. This is a lot of work for us guys. And every time that it goes up, we have to change it. It's annoying. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, really good for that team. But yeah, we're changing it once a week, so that'll be changed in 2 days. So yeah, our day Friday is when we'll change the price again. We'll probably start to do
2 dias para baixarem o valor do VIP
but
aí, tá?
yeah, we'll lower the price to match that previous US dollar price in just 2 days. And it's crazy because I think we matched it to like Ronin being at 90 cents on Friday, and now it's a lot higher. So yeah, more work on the team. It's annoying. Stop buying Ronin.
É um projeto tão promissor.
Okay.
Essa questão de botarem a cara é normal. Projetos promissores, projetos bons.
This is a fun one. Do you cooperate with Sunflower Land game in the future? So at Pixels, we love interoperability. We want to work with everybody. Even Sunflower Land. I think Sunflower Land is great. I have so much respect for that team.
Yeah, we met them. We met them at GDC. We talked to them for hours. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, great guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like them. So yeah, nothing but respect for that team. Yeah, we're super open to something like that. We want to be working with everybody in Web3. We think that Web3 is better when people work together. There are so many different things to solve in Web3, especially Web3 gaming, where I don't even view like I know Sunflower Land, it's another kind of farming game, But they're
Filho
going
da
out into
puta.
like their own little niche. We're going into our own niche, and we're paving our own way. I don't even view like any Web3
Sim, é
game, even if
promissor
it's
pra
like super
caralho, velho.
predatory.
Você vê que tem várias parcerias aí, tipo, parceria com a Bape, tá ligado? Parceria com a Nucyber, eu não conhecia a Nucyber, mas eu tenho parceria com a Mocaverse, que é da Animoca. Animoca é gigantesca, pô. Empresa bilionária, tá ligado? Então,
Like more Web3 games is a wonderful thing, you know?
é a guild
It's
dos
more like no one's a
robôs.
competitor. Like we're working together. The more the merrier, guys.
Aí eles perguntaram
Okay.
aqui, ah, vocês vão comparar com...
Started.
Vão fazer parceria
Okay, well, the
com
repatch
Sunflower Land?
So whenever there's a big update, we always have release notes. I think they're called game updates, the article on our help center, so you can go read them there. All right. Pull
Aí vai
yours
ter um
up.
patchzinho de
He didn't
atualização.
miss it.
Somebody brought up Tibia. Yeah, it's Tibia that brought it up. And yeah, will we have dungeons, weapons, and monsters like Tibia? So version chapter 2, that's going to bring some elements of some of the stuff, but it's like I don't want to overpromise on what this gameplay is going to look like in the short term. Pixel's team, we're in a really great spot right now. We have plenty of time, runway, energy, motivation to continue to build out the game and to make it better and better. So like version 1 of chapter 2 is going to have some stripped back elements of some of this stuff, but it's not going to look like Tibia right away. And that like is still up for debate of like how far in that direction do we want to go. But obviously what we're just looking for in these early days of building is what are the features that you guys like the most, and if it's that kind of stuff, we're going to keep building that. Like we don't want to build stuff that you guys don't want. That's a waste
É,
of our time, that's a waste of our
caralho, muito top,
resources.
velho.
So yeah, when we release this first
Tô
version
bem
of chapter
animado.
2, we'll start to see if all of you guys talking about Tibia,
Bem
if
animado.
your playtime is behind your mouth, if you actually will play all this stuff and engage in it, will it increase retention, will it increase engagement, will people be using like the resources in the ways that we want? Like that's the kind of stuff that will look at. And if we're seeing some positive stuff there, then yeah, we're going to go all in on more of these mechanics.
Ah, vai ter
Okay.
dungeons com
Alright.
armas e monstros, que nem no Tibia. Eles falaram que
Want to
talvez, né?
what you want to talk about?
Um,
We've covered so
Talvez. Tem guild com a imagem da moeda. Ah.
some stuff I will have to say, like I can't answer all of the questions that get asked sometimes. Like there's some stuff around like speculation, like all of that. Like I know what you guys are trying to ask, and I can't answer some of this stuff. And I like actually won't either, because that's not the point of what we're trying to do sometimes. So yeah, I do need to make some of that clear. What else? Oh, somebody's asking about
oh yeah.
some stuff around mobile. So yeah, what's interesting is 2 months ago, 5% of our user base was on
Será?
mobile web, and now over 30% of our users are mobile web users, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, a lot of the Southeast Asian audiences, all you from the Philippines, we know you guys use mobile. A lot of you don't even have, like laptops, and yeah, that's pretty cool, right? So we know that mobile needs to be a larger focus. Right now, mobile works on browser, but it's not a great experience. And if we make that experience better, that might lead to better retention. That might lead to like more engagement from these communities. So we're thinking about that for sure. It's just when do we put in all these improvements, basically.
Vai ter pixels como aplicativo? Provavelmente.
Please make dungeon and mining like Stardew Valley. I will say, like Stardew Valley is probably the single most inspirational game to what we're doing at Pixels. It's honestly like the only game I poured. Well, this and Vampire Survivors are the only games I've actually put any significant time into myself over the last like 3 to 4 years. I grew up playing RuneScape, but then yeah, now I'm the kind of person that just likes really chill games. Stardew Valley, Vampire Survivors, and then walking simulators. Those are the only other games I play, like Journey or A Short Hike. Love that game.
A short hike.
Yeah, it's kind of like a walking simulator game where you just collect these feathers, you just walk around the map, you say hi to some people, and then the game's done.
Cute. Cute.
Sweet. Well, yeah, even more questions to answer in like Discord, things like that. Yeah, really appreciate all of you coming to this AMA, being here with us. We do this every single week. We've only missed like 3 in the last 2 years. Um,
Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
Yeah. It's been a ride.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it's been so awesome seeing so many new faces at these AMAs. So yeah, we hope this answered, a lot of questions.
Acho que tá
Hope this gave
acabando,
you
hein?
like a peek into the way that we're thinking about things and what we have planned. And yeah, sorry we couldn't get to every single question, but we will
So
continue to be here.
wild. Like when we started, we used to answer every single question. And I remember we even had AMAs, like we try to keep them to roughly around an hour. And there were some AMAs where we didn't even have enough questions. We were like, okay, 20 minutes, like we're done for today, you know? So it's just so
Caralho.
incredible to have you all with us asking all of these
Eles
amazing
estão bem
questions.
animados,
So yeah,
velho.
thank you all for coming out. Thank you for
Aí,
every new
acabou.
input into
Velho, eles estavam falando que, tipo, tinha ama que eles não tinham nem perguntas. Não tinha nem pergunta, tipo, 20 minutos de ama e acabavam. Beleza, acabou a ama, não tem mais pergunta. Entendeu? Então eles estão bem animados, né? Daqui a pouco a gente dá um
today.
resumão
The
ali.
community team.
Daqui a pouco o que a gente vai fazer? A gente só vai dar um breve resumo e eu vou falar como eu estou me posicionando agora para essas mudanças aí, né, no jogo. E aí vocês vão tomar suas próprias decisões aí, né?
Saying under 12 hours. I can't give the exact time quite yet, but under 12 hours, Mochaverse V1 launches, or more like
Daqui a
part
pouco
one
tem um
launches.
Mochaverse em
In
família.
that, you will be able to get a Mocha ID through Pixel's dashboard without a referral code. So if you have not got a Mocha ID yet, head to the dashboard once we launch that, and you
Lá
will be able
ele.
to. And yeah, next week or maybe the next, I don't know. Stay
Atrás
tuned.
do
There's more things
cão,
coming. We have
vagabundo.
another little partnership coming where we'll be giving away something fun with them.
Vagabundo.
Yeah, like it's endless, guys. It's so much is happening. So much is happening. All right. Oh my gosh, wait, sorry, this made me laugh. We are masters. You are welcome. Okay. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Acabou? Ih! Bora ver se. Ficar aqui mais um pouquinho, né? Pra ver se acaba as pipocas. A bichinha tá feliz, né? Muito dinheiro. Oh, céus. Tá fazendo a moeda. E ainda joga, pô, ainda joga. Ganha dinheiro no jogo e ganha dinheiro trabalhando. Ela era da RONIN, pô. Ela era da RONIN. Cara, querido. Chegamos em 13 likes. Muito obrigado. Tem Lendes também, né? Melhor coisa é. Se armou. Se armou. Mas bora fazer o nosso aqui. Eu acho que vai ficar aí até. Sei lá. Será que eles vão tirar agora? Enquanto isso, a gente vai pegando aqui nas energias. Rapaziada, então é isso que a gente viu aí, né? Sistema de guilda entrou aí, então vão ter muitas mudanças. Muitas, 2655. Ah, e tem até. Eu tenho coisa lá, nem sabia, ó. Guilda agora vai ter muita mudança. Eu vou até mudar meu X, pera aí. Todo mundo de. Todo mundo de Tribesters, eu vou ficar aí de. Vou ficar aí de Royce. Achei foda esse bagulho da traição. Vamos ver como vai ser. Traição, basicamente, eu acho que vai ser tipo poder. Não entendi muito bem, mas talvez poder estar em duas guildas e tal. Né? Talvez duas contas. Quem sabe? Mas eu não acho que vale a pena não, ainda mais agora, pô. Ainda mais agora. Porque o que acontece, rapaziada, ó, vai ter coisa nova, o cara sugar e cair fora, pegar um recurso ali, tchau, né? Pode ser. Mas será que vai valer realmente a pena, a depender do preço do que você pagar para entrar ali? Porque vai funcionar como bounding curves. Vou dar uma pesquisada aqui. Bounding curves basicamente é tipo um gráfico crescente, né? Então, por exemplo, você compra aqui a zero, aí depois já vai passar para um outro valor, né? Já vai passar para 0,1, né? Você compra 0,1, vai passar para 0,2. Então vai ser meio que por demanda, sabe? Então talvez guildas maiores, talvez elas sejam mais competitivas para você poder pagar ali. E até guildas menores também vão poder optar por, tipo assim, pô, a gente tem aqui, ó, nossa guilda com 20 lands, e a gente quer deixar essas 20 lands para 20 pessoas só, para 30 pessoas. Quem quiser entrar vai ter que pagar $100, $200, $500, $1.000, que seja. É, São opções, né? São, são opções. Eles falaram também a questão do Mocaverse, né? Do Mocaverso, que basicamente vai ter. Será? Eu tava com a skin do. Será, mano? Eu tava com a skin do Tribesters. Agora que eu tô com a do Giro aqui. Aqui, a do Giro. Será? O que eu tava falando, eu esqueci. Ah, o Mocaverso. Mocaverso, a gente tá com a ID aqui, pra quem quiser pegar logo, mas. Como é que sobe nessa porra? Acho que é aqui, assim. Mas eles vão dar de graça pra quem joga Pixels, né? Também, sem precisar de código. Então, você esperar aí também. Precisa pegar código, sair buscando código de referência, não. Isso é só pro Pixels, tá? Eles falaram que é só pro Pixels. Então, o que é a questão agora, rapaziada? É juntar recurso, velho. Eles falaram que não vão querer tirar nenhum recurso do jogo, né? Tipo, ah, meu Deus, eu tenho 100 drills. Vou perder minhas 100 drills? Não, você não vai perder seus 100 drills. Acredito que eles só não sabem ainda o que eles vão fazer pra, tipo, porra, vai tirar tudo e vai te mandar de volta, entendeu? Eles têm que